Host RJ Manhattan Productions, and we're at the Bronx Museum of the Arts. We're at the True School of the Pen tonight, and this is Mr. Ron, social media person here at Bronx Museum of the Arts. And we'd like to thank you for having this True School of the Pen for our community.
Yeah, absolutely.
What gave you the influence of having Mr. Charlie Ahearn, who's director of Wild Style, as well as Jamel Shabazz, the street photography film? What gave you the influence and having them here for this community?
The Bronx Museum actually has the largest collection of Jamel Shabazz photographs in its permanent collection. And when we learned about this documentary from Charlie Ahearn, it seemed like a good connection to make, since we have the large collection and there's this great documentary documenting the collection. We just figured we'd come in and do a public program with him, Charlie Ahearn.
It's great because it seems like you're doing a lot of different shows, highlighting hip hop and highlighting all the elements of b-boy and breaking and DJing and MCing, and you really highlight photography and the street aspect, especially from what we're seeing, and what you capture that, and you captured some of the players, some of the brothers on there like B2 Garcia and KRS1. Tell me, are you going to actually have more of these programs which is needed in this time for
We will, absolutely. One of the things about the Bronx Museum, we're located here in the South Bronx, but the museum's mission is dedicated to artists of African, Latino, and Asian descent, as well as artists for whom the Bronx is important to their development. So if you look at those different aspects, hip-hop kind of runs all through that. So, and one of the things we really want to do is bring more young people into the museum. And the best way to really do that is through hip hop. So we do a lot of different programming. Could be music, could be dance, theater. But if we do 3 programs, we like to do 1 hip hop, 4 programs. So we're trying to give the community a variety of arts. But in that variety, we include hip hop. Where other museums might do something once a year, we try to do it regularly. We try to program hip hop regularly into what we do.
Okay, this is great because it's so much needed. So looking at because hip hop is global, so you look like you're bringing more people and more young people into this genre, and you actually aspect and highlight the film aspect as well. Are you going to do any more programming, say within the next 6 months, that highlights not just hip hop, but film and the arts in general?
So the next exhibition cycle, which starts in late February, I think February 28th, one of our exhibitions will be highlighting the work of Joe Conzo. Joe is a peer of Jamel Shabazz. So what Jamel was doing in Brooklyn, Joe Conzo was doing in the Bronx. So he will be part of a documentary of 3 Bronx photographers. And the whole idea, again, is to look at the different eras and genres of photography. So Joe will bring that hip-hop sensibility to us. So we're hoping that we continue to get more young people to come into the museum to see Joe Conzo's work.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
Actually hosting this
Thank
show.
you for coming through.
And we look forward to coming back again.
Thank you so
All the
much.
best to you in the Bronx Arts of 2015.
Absolutely.
And your family.
You too.
And the arts culture.
Thank you.
Okay, for information, where could anyone in the community, especially in New York and in the
Website.
contact you?
So website bronxmuseum.org. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. Just search on Bronx Museum, one word, and you'll find us. And my email is ron@bronxmuseum.org.
BronxMuseum.org. Ron, thank you once again. Peace and blessings to you, brother. All right, and happy King Day.
Okay, you too, man.
Mr. Charlie Ahearn, the director of the first hip-hop movie Wild Style, here also made a film showcasing the great work of Jamel Shabazz, the street photographer. This is true school hip-hop culture and highlighting the elements of the Wild Style movie when you have graffiti and breaking and b-boy and MC and DJing. It is a pleasure. What gave you the influence of making that movie, sir?
You're referring to Wild Style?
Yes, and Wild Style. What gave you? It's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you, thank you, sir.
What gave you the inspiration of making that movie, which is a groundbreaking film?
The film was really sparked by a meeting that I had, a very spontaneous meeting that I had in Times Square on June of 1980. I met Fab Five Freddy, who was Fred Brathwaite at the time, and we had ideas that we were talking about, which had to do with the connection between the subway trains, what was happening on the subway trains, and what was happening in music, in what they called rap music right at that point, because hip-hop was not a term that people used across the board. So that really, and he had known that I made a kung fu movie called The Deadly Art of Survival that was in Lee Quinones' neighborhood. Lee Quinones is the star of Wild Style. And Fred and Lee had been talking about showing paintings. They had actually they had just come back from showing paintings in Italy, some graffiti style paintings. So that was a spark that Fred and I were talking about making a movie in which the elements of graffiti and elements of rapping and DJing would all come together as one culture in a movie. And my main focus was that I wanted to work with Lee Quinones because I had made a whole kung fu movie in this neighborhood. And so the following day he brought Lee Quinones to the Times Square show where I was showing work, and 100 other artists were showing work in Times Square. And I had Lee and Fred paint a throw-up on the building out in front. Now we're talking in broad daylight. This is an illegal act of vandalism. We did not have permission. But that was June of 1980. People did stuff. We did stuff. We got away with it. That was the beginning of making Wild Style.
Wow, that's great.
And they did a piece that was a Fab Five, because Lee Quinones was in a group called Fabulous Five, and they did a Fab Five piece on the wall.
Yeah, because you really highlighted and the trains and the culture of the graffiti, and then you had DJing, and you had Busy Bee, you had Grandmaster Cass, Cold Crush. You had a lot of elements, and it was so groundbreaking, and it really sparked a lot of us that were even younger at that time. And you definitely part of that culture, and we definitely want to thank you. Where do you see hip hop going right now in 2015? And are you going to be making any groundbreaking other films like you've had with Wild Style?
I've been making movies right along. I've made many. I've been focusing more on short films because I feel like short films are a way to produce something that can go out. And I've made two films that might be of interest to you. One is a film called The Five Grand Masters, which involves a kind of vibe of martial arts vibe, but it's a battle between five of the greatest b-boys.
Okay.
And it's a very beautiful film because Grand Wizard Theodore, who's one of the stars of Wild Style and one of the great pioneers and veteran of scratch music.
True indeed.
He's scratch mixing Just Begun, which is the major,
especially for b-boys.
right, for b-boys. And so it's a very intense 26-minute movie. And that's the kind of thing I'm working on right now.
Yeah, so you continue in this great culture here
Yes, and
around
that
the world.
film has been out on, I have released that on the internet. If you look up Five Grandmasters, thousands of people have seen it. And it's going out for people to...
That's great. So, so where do you see yourself actually, what is your take really on the culture of hip hop now? Like a lot of things have changed right now, especially in the industry, and it's a rich culture still around the world. Hey, where do you see it?
I think the heart of creative hip hop is local, and I think it's global.
That's right.
And I think if you want to witness hip hop, you need to see it on the ground. You need to be there. I don't care where we're talking about. You go to any major city in the world, and you have to find the community that's involved in this. And this hip-hop culture has created a kind of doorway between cultures and created an avenue for people to express themselves that did not exist beforehand. Believe me, I was around, and previous to hip-hop, people didn't have the kind of, it's a kind of language that's enabled people to use the foundations of dance and DJing and even MCing. Even though you've got MCing in different languages, the structure of rapping or of MCing is the same, and people have picked up on this format and been able to create cultures all around the world that's their own culture. It's not just something beamed in. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah. So where can anyone, young people, older people, people who are watching this now, we'd like to thank you for coming here to Bronx Music Arts, where can they get in contact with you and see your films? Where can they, are you on Facebook?
If you go to YouTube, if you go to Vimeo, and just put in Charlie Ahearn, you can see recent films of mine. Like I have a film that I made here in the Bronx with Grandmaster Kaz called Bongo Barbershop, and it was made on 183rd Street, and it's about the origins of hip-hop in the Bronx, but he gets into a rap battle in the barbershop with a gentleman from Tanzania who battles him in Swahili.
Battles him in Swahili.
Yes,
that's the culture. That's a beautiful culture that's going to continue to exist and go on and on. We like to actually thank you for coming by. It is such a pleasure. Keep doing what you've been doing. Mr. Charlie Ahearn, at the drop of a hat, another segment here in our community, keeping true to the hip-hop culture, showing all the elements as well as showcasing film.
Thank you. Bye-bye.